Okay, guys. Hey, welcome back to Chit Chat Tuesdays, and we are immediately rolling back. We're rolling into part two. Okay, this is birth story. Birth stories part two. We're gonna go into my birth story with my son first. Same thing. I'm going to give you a little like pregnancy tidbit info, and then we're gonna go into the birth story and all that. So, my son, his birthday, he just turned 6 in June. I don't know exactly when this particular video will be up, what day, but his birthday is in June. He was born in 2016. He just turned 6. He is a mama's boy. He is the light of my life. I love him to pieces. He is always the first one to tell me that I'm beautiful, that I'm smart, that I'm the best mommy. He is my biggest hype man. He has my personality to a T. He is goofy. He is crazy. He will get down and shake his booty with the best of them. He is a ham, and he loves attention, and he loves to entertain people. He is crazy. He's a crazy little dude. He's my little Gemini. I'm pretty sure he's a Gemini. Pretty sure he's a Gemini. I'm sure there's someone that knows more about that stuff that'd probably tell me if Geminis aren't anywhere in June. But anywho, so I got pregnant with him. This pregnancy was planned just like my daughter's pregnancy was planned, except for, I guess we kind of had it in our head we were going to have another girl. And honestly, from the time I got pregnant, I knew it was a boy. But at the time, I didn't want a boy. I was like, I don't want a boy. I don't know what to do with a boy. I want another girl. I don't want this boy. So I was kind of sad whenever we got the ultrasound, and the ultrasound tech was like, yeah, it's a boy. And I'm like, okay. Now, being a boy mom, oh my God. Oh my gosh, it will change you. Being a boy mom, it will change you for the better. For the better. But anyways, so I wanted to name him Maxwell. My husband was like, no. My husband wanted to name him Maximus, and I said, no. So we just named him Max. So now he's our little Max, which we call him Maxie. And we also call him Bubs. So he is Maxie or Bubs, and he is just precious. So pregnancy started out all right. I wasn't really sick, normal like tiredness, and then the sickness hit me. I threw up daily until I got to 17 weeks, and then I was just good to go. I did have to take Zofran with him, but not as long, thank goodness. With him, instead of a doctor, like an actual, just like a regular doctor, I had a doula. And she is amazing. And honestly, she alone makes me want to have tons more babies just like with her. I would love to go back to Wyoming. He was born in Wyoming. Sophia was born in Louisiana. I didn't mention that in her video, but now you know. So after 17 weeks, I was working out, I was cooking, I was cleaning, I was doing everything like I wasn't pregnant. I was just doing it with a belly. I'm very small, so people are like, are you sure you're not having more than one? Yes, I'm sure. Just a word to the wise, don't comment on how large a woman is when she's pregnant. Okay, she knows, she's aware. I'm only like 5'1". There ain't a lot of room for the baby. So, anywho, his due date was coming, but it was still, not one too close. So, I was just assuming, like, with my daughter, it was going to get closer to his due date before he came. So, my mom, had a plane ticket. She was set to come at a certain time because we were like, all right, we need you to be here so you can be with Sophia, so me and Lamar can go to the hospital and we can have this baby. You know what I mean? Okay, so 38 weeks, 2 days. All that day, I kind of felt a little weird. I kind of felt a little strange, not in a bad way, just a little different, Walked on the treadmill. Felt like the baby was trying to come out of my vagina the entire time I was walking on the treadmill that day, but I was just like, you know what? He's been low this whole pregnancy, really. Felt a lot of pressure. That's probably what it is. No big deal. Okay? My hair is a mess. I need to wash it, but I'm like, no. hair wash day can just be put off till tomorrow. I don't have the energy. I get ready for bed. I get in bed. 1 a.m. I am awoken by what feels like me peeing myself. And I'm pregnant. I'm largely pregnant. And I'm thinking to myself, man, did I just pee in the bed? I just peed in the bed. I just peed in the bed. So I get up and my undies are a little like damp. The bed's not damp. And I'm like, okay, maybe I dreamed it. Maybe I dreamed it. You know what I mean? I just dreamed like I peed and maybe I like peed a little. I changed my undies. I lay back down. And I feel another like whoosh. Not a big whoosh, but a little whoosh. Just whoosh. And I'm like, am I peeing myself? Okay? Am I peeing myself? So I stand up. And I go to the bathroom and I try to pee, but there's like not pee. I'm not peeing, okay? And so I'm standing there and ever so often there's like a trickle. And I'm like, I'm peeing my pants. I have no control over my bladder now. What am I supposed to do? And then I'm like, oh my God, is my water break? Did my water break? So I call my husband because he was working nights and I'm like, hey, I think my water just broke. Maybe. I think we need to go to the hospital, possibly. And he's like, well, do we or do we not? And I'm like, I'm not sure. So he said, call the doctor. So I call the doctor and they're like, no, you need to go in. If you think your water broke, you need to go in. I'm like, oh, okay. So I call him back and I'm like, no, you need to come home. We got to go in. So at this point, I don't know what to do. I should have, in hindsight, should have went, took a shower, got ready, all that stuff. But instead, I just put on some clothes and we go to the hospital because I'm thinking they're just going to send me home. You know what I mean? Like, they're just going to send me home. No big deal. No, my water had broken. It was time to get the show on the road. And guess who was along for the ride? My daughter. My 5-year-old daughter. 6. No, 5-year-old daughter. My 5-year-old daughter's along for the ride. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's going to be scarred for life. And it's 1 o'clock in the morning. So not only should she be in bed, but she's okay, whatever. So they get us in, they take us out of triage after they've checked me and determined, no, they're keeping me. They get us into a room and they bring in this big cot, this huge, it was like the size of a full-size bed. Like their bed was bigger than mine. And the nurses are so kind. They make the bed for my husband and my daughter. And they're like, all right. They hook me up to the things. They get my IV started. And I'm just bouncing on a ball. I'm just bouncing on the ball, y'all. Just chilling, you know. I think I was dilated maybe to a 2. I wasn't like crazy dilated. They're like, listen, we're just going to keep checking you. If you don't progress, we might have to give you some Pitocin. But other than that, just chill. You know, it's like a waiting game. That's why I'm saying I should have just stayed home for a little bit before I came in. But whatever. The nurses were so great. Everything was great. I'm bouncing on a ball. So I tell my husband, I'm like, well, you need to go home, get some stuff for her. Because we didn't pack a bag for Sophia to be at the hospital with us. We just packed a bag for me, the baby, like Lamar, all that good stuff. We didn't pack anything for her. So I'm like, you need to go home. You need to get like this. They leave. To go get her breakfast and go get all of her like little creature comfort type things like her tablet and her blanket and all that stuff. They leave. I'm just chilling. They come back a while later, no big deal. My doctor comes in. Thank God she was on call. She pokes her head in and she's like, you want some breakfast? I'm like, yeah. So they legit bring me breakfast. I eat. There is no enema involved in this. And I'm like, okay, cool. Love that. I'm bouncing on a ball. I'm watching the news. I'm bouncing on a ball. I'm doing my thing. They are coming in and checking me and they're like, all right, we're going to need to hook you up to some Pitocin. Let's get this moving on, quicker. So they hooked me up to Pitocin and I was having back labor. I was having contractions in my back. So one would come, I would breathe through it. And then I think I got to around a 6 and they're like, do you want an epidural? And I'm like, okay, sure. So the guy comes in, he gives me the epidural, not a problem at all. The machine wouldn't stop beeping. So the guy was like afraid that he was going to have to redo it. Thankfully he didn't. Got that all done. Epidural in, I'm laid back. I did like this epidural because it wasn't like I was completely numb to everything, because a little while later I'm like, I feel like I need to push. And my husband's like, you can't feel anything. I'm like, no. I feel pressure. I feel like I need to push. And he's like, are you sure? And I'm like, no, go get someone, tell them this is happening. I feel it. And sure enough, they come in and they're like, it's time to go. We're about to push a baby out. My doula was there, and they, another doctor came in who looked like Captain America before he got the shot, and the muscles and stuff. He looked exactly like skinny, small Captain America. I think his name was Dr. Snow. And so my doula has my daughter stand in a chair, and she's watching me give birth, and she's telling her to count me down and count my pushes. And Sophia's cheering me on, and she's going, go mom, go, go mom, go. And I think I pushed twice, and my little boy was in this world. He literally pooped a millisecond after coming out. Thank God he waited, because if you've ever had a kid, like, that is a disaster, because there can be infection. But they put him on my chest, and I literally had 2 straight hours of skin to skin. Nobody bothered us. They did clean him up a little bit while he was on my chest, just kind of like rub him, clean. But he just laid there skin to skin for 2 hours. He had trouble latching. And in the middle of the night, I had 2 nurses spend a couple of hours. They were like in the hospital bed with me while my daughter and my husband were asleep. They were like quietly in the bed with me, we were trying to get everything we could to get him to latch. Finally, we got him to latch properly. Everything was good. The next morning, he had his little circumcision, and we were sent home. And I did tear in the exact same spot. The doctor did internal stitches. I never had not one pain. I felt like $1 million when I got home after I had my son. $1 million. I was literally up walking, moving my feet right after, like, I could move all of that stuff right after I gave birth. Like, the epidural was perfect. Everything was perfect. It was so perfect. I'm not even going to lie. It was amazing. And that was my birth story with my little dude. My little dude, who was a little bit smaller than his sister, but longer than his sister. He looked like an alien when he was born. I remember looking at my husband, I was like, he looks like an alien. He is not a cute baby. But as soon as he started eating, because he loved to eat, okay, I breastfed him for 2 years. He loved to eat. Once he started eating and he chunked up, oh my gosh, the most handsome man ever. But at first, when he came out and he was long and skinny, he looked like a little alien. But anyways, guys, that was birth story part 2. I hope you enjoyed. I love you guys so very much. I just heard a crazy noise outside, so that is my cue to go check on my children. If you have any birth stories, leave them down below. If you did not watch part 1, please go check it out. I'll try to put it up here for you guys. I love you. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so, and I will see you next week for another Chit Chat Tuesday. Bye!